Namaskar and welcome. This is Pia on ITV Gold, and today we have the pleasure of speaking with Amit Kumar Sharma, the head of Americas at VFS Global, which is the world's largest outsourcing and technology services specialist for governments and diplomatic missions. With over 19 years of experience in effectively managing client relationships, Amit plays a pivotal role in overseeing operations across more than 30 countries in the Americas, including the USA, Canada, LATAM, and the Caribbean. VFS Global has become the trusted partner of 67 client governments, processing over 278 million applications since its inception in 2001. So without any further ado, let's welcome Amit. Welcome and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much for having me here and giving me the opportunity to talk to you. Thank you.
Yes, let's start with, we all know about VFS Global. It is the largest company that helps with outsourcing and technology. So can you just give us an overview of how the year 2023 has been for you?
Yeah, so as you rightly mentioned, VFS Global is the world's largest organization in terms of providing solutions to the governments across the world. As we speak now, we provide solutions to 67 client governments across 140 plus countries. In terms of year 2023, I could say that remarkably, since the COVID is now behind us and after the restart that has happened, this was the first full year where the travel was truly back, in that sense, because in 21 and 22, when a lot of countries reopened the border and allow people to travel into the respective countries, that was pretty conditional because people either have to be vaccinated or they had to be a PCR COVID test before they travel, either 24 hours before departure or 48 hours before departure. But 2023 was the first year where you could see that an applicant or a traveler can freely travel almost everywhere in the world. Absolutely. So this was truly a year which was, in comparison to 2019, was back to normalcy as far as the travel is concerned.
So the question that comes to my mind is, what new places and services has VFS started, working in? And just let our listeners know about the important changes that have been done.
Yeah, so VFS Global operates all the visa application center or the passport application center in close coordination with the respective embassies or the consulates for that particular country. Whichever locations we are operating or we will operate in the future is normally decided by that government. So they choose the location, they let us know that we want you to be present in 6 locations in US, for example, or 11 locations in US, for example, and we go in those locations, we start our visa application center, and then people can take those services from our VACs.
All right. And, as you were earlier talking about the COVID part and everything else. So in 2023, many people traveled a lot, as you said, so, after COVID-19, and which some call as revenge travel. So this, of course, includes like trips from like work, from school, for fun and, stuff like that. So how do you think like travel will change in 2024?
I think you rightly mentioned the word revenge travel. And this is how I think it was seen in the industry as well. The 23 was truly back in terms of people traveling again. We have seen in 23 all kind of travelers coming back to the normal standards before COVID, whether it was in terms of business traveler or it was just a leisure travel or students, for example. During COVID, we have seen the business travel was highly impacted because you've seen work from home kind of concept came in. The discussions or the negotiation or the meetings, conferences were happening online. 23 was the first year when you saw that those things before COVID came back, and the business travelers were really going out and traveling and meeting their clients across the world and meeting their sort of teams, which are, sometimes globally those companies have different people working in many countries. I think 24 will have the similar trends, and it will further strengthen the travel sector. In that sense, I think a lot of people will continue to travel. There are still could be some more countries that will open up their borders completely to the travelers, and we will continue to see hopefully the positive trend in the travel sector.
How about like the easier processes, for travel documentation? They have been in long-term demand. Everybody wants it that way. So how are you addressing the same?
So we at VFS Global, we continue to enhance each of our process to make sure that the applicant's journey, while they are applying for a visa, for example, or if they are applying for a passport, or if they are renewing their passport, or in the case of India, it's OCI. So we can always come back with the enhancement in our process, what we need to do in order to make sure that people are able to apply for these services easily. So, for example, in India, in US, there is a possibility for people to send their applications by post, so they don't really need to go to that application center, and they can just ship their application and get their whole documentation process without leaving the comfort of their homes. So that's something that has come into the process. Something called VAYD, which is Visa at Your Doorstep, launched by VFS in many countries, and one of the popular service that I would say, wherein you can choose to opt for the service, wherein the team of VFS, along with the kits and the biometric enrollment sort of mobile kit we go to your place, we go to the home of applicant and do the entire process at their home. So these kind of process enhancement, the comforts of applying for a visa or passport from your home is absolutely next level, and I think what we will do, we will keep bringing these initiatives, not only from the process perspective, but also from the technological advancement, in close coordination with our respective client governments that we work for.
Since we are talking about this, so tell me, you are talking about all these processes, but are these processes going to make, the services faster?
Well, they do to some extent, because now there are two kind of questions when we talk about the faster processing. One is the processing of the application by the respective embassy and the consulate, which they do, of course, and that's completely in their hand, how much time they're going to take. And second is how soon we accept application from applicant and how quickly we can transfer it to the respective embassy and the consulates. So those are two different elements, and then naturally there is the timing of the year also impact on these questions, because if you're applying during the peak season, you could expect the processing times could be slightly more purely because of the demand of the travel during those seasons, and that can of course get addressed during the non-peak times. But from the solutions that we have implemented in our visa application centers, whether these are document pre-check, for example. So what is the document pre-check? Digital document pre-check. So every application will require certain set of documents to be submitted, along with it. So if you can get that done without going to the visa application center already, and you are 100% sure that your application is fully ready for a visa officer, for a counselor to kind of get it processed, the chances of that application getting processed quickly is much higher, because you made sure that all the documents are already done there. Instead, you're sending a application with the possibility of incomplete documents or some clarification sort and to and fro, that of course lead to the processing times as well.
So basically you're telling everybody, just make sure whenever you fill a document online, just make sure it's all completed properly.
Absolutely.
So that, the process is done faster.
Yes.
So let's talk about, Indian government. They have been actively setting up counselor camps, which have helped the diaspora community a lot. So just tell us the number of people who have taken part and how has that helped? And also, how many do you think will, participate in the future?
A very good question. And counselor camps, in short, has been a success, because the Indian diaspora in US is quite widely spread. And what counselor camps have done, they have made sure that people are able to take the services from the comfort of the location they're living in. So we conduct counselor camps in close coordination with the Embassy of India in Washington and the respective consulates across US. And we, of course, make sure these are already put in calendars much in advance. The people are informed about it. There is a complete marketing plan that goes into it. And we make sure that people knows the date, location, venue, where and when the counselor camps are going to be conducted, so that they can make full use of it.
Right.
That's very essential. And what happened also, when they see the counselor camps are conducted and people from VFS and the consulates are together at the same location, they are able to submit their applications, they're able to clarify any questions that they might have about the processing of the application in person, So the counselor camps have been success. Over the last few months, we have processed already close to 10,000 applications in US, only in the counselor camps.
Wow.
So that's something very useful for the diaspora. We will continue to work very closely with the embassies and the consulates to make sure that there are more counselor camps set up this year as well. And it can be, the diaspora is getting benefit of this.
As you already said, even many consulates are being set up for the diaspora community. And VSF Global is also, growing in this area. So just tell us about these developments a little bit.
Yeah, so VFS Global, of course, we are committed to ensure the entire applicant's journey from the time they decide to travel and apply for a visa or renew their passports for India, for example, in US. We want to make sure that this entire journey is very comfortable.
Right.
It's convenient. It's not only the customer satisfaction, but also the customer delight. We want to make sure that they enjoy this journey because in most of the cases, they're looking forward to those trips. If they're coming to VFS to apply for a visa, they're looking forward to those trips, whether they're leisure travel or a student application. So we want to be an organization who actually helps people to achieve what they want to, So we want to focus on that. We want to make this journey as comfortable as possible by launching new products, by implementing new technological advancements, by working very closely with the embassy or the consulate to set up more consular camps and be everywhere wherever there is a demand for visa and work closely with the embassy to set up these services for people.
Absolutely. And the next question that's coming to my mind is about, of course, technology is leading and is the future of travel space. So here I want to ask you about the security and safety of the data. Could you explain what measures have you employed to ensure the safety of these sensitive documents?
Yeah, there's a whole list of initiatives. Those are implemented, in the entire process that we have. So in terms of, we can talk from the physical security of the documents to the technological and how we process the PII, the sensitive data within the application. So first of all, we don't possess any data with us. We don't keep any data with us. So we only process those data. We accept those applications, process in the system and transfer it to the respective embassies and the consulates. So once they have completed the application, those are returned back to the applicants and the data is automatically purged from the systems. So there is no data that is kept with VFS, first of all. Secondly, whenever we are processing those data, also we have made sure that all the information technological security measures are in place.
Right.
We are compliant to kind of recently launched rules in GDPR, for example, on the global data protection. So we are compliant to that. We are also compliant to a list of ISO certifications that are required for us to run the show. We are part of several audits. Those are done. So we have had internal audits throughout the year. We do the external audits, third-party audit, mystery audits are done. We also have a possibility of the client governments walking into our centers and doing the audits anytime. So all those things are done. We have a huge corporate security department within the organization who is ensuring the entire process of any of the visa application centers that we have across the world are always under the CCTV surveillance. Even the products like visa at your doorstep, when we go at somebody's home and process the application there, even that process also is under the security surveillance, So in terms of data protection, in terms of corporate security, we don't compromise. There is zero tolerance on that, and we have absolutely latest measures in place to make sure that not only the client governments is satisfied and happy with that, but also our applicants are at ease.
Wonderful, and it's like really nice to know all that. And let's talk about the e-visas. A lot of countries are now offering e-visa. So do you think e-visa will change the landscape of travel, and will it make travel much easier?
There are different kind of visas. Those are issued by many governments, So if we talk about from the VFS perspective, any government that would like to implement e-visa as a solution, as an offering to any country or the set of people or applicants, we as an organization have that solution. We have done it for many countries. We are already providing e-visa as a product, as a solutions to the governments for many years, In fact, and in the region also. So we are completely, as an organization, we are ready to kind of implement these kind of initiatives. Whether they should be done or when it be done, it's of course best decided by the respective governments. As an organization, we do have this product on our table to offer.
Wonderful. And before we close, any messages you want to give out to our ITV Gold viewers?
Yeah, I just want to say a couple of things as we approach to the peak season. Of course, one of the key factor here is that people try and apply in advance, so that they don't rush into the stress of the processing times, because peak season is when most of the people are applying for the visa. The second, what we are looking at is they should be aware of what kind of documents are required for the respective applications. It's very easy. They can visit our website www.vfsglobal.com, and take all the information. It's completely free of cost. They can call to our call center and ask for any information before they apply for the visa. So we are doing a lot in terms of educating people on the process, on the documents, and on the processing times, so that they don't fall for the fraud. VFS Global is committed to provide absolute best services to the applicants and great solutions to the governments.
Thank you so much for educating me today, and it was a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.